Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage Part 1. This game is truly something special. Spyro 2 is the first Spyro game I ever played. It's a game that got me interested in Spyro. It's the reason why I like Spyro so much. This game really is an awesome, amazing experience, fully fledged interactive experience where you travel through fantasy worlds, where you fight all kinds of fantasy beasts and collect gems and solve puzzles and tasks for people, and you collect things like orbs and talismans. There's dinosaurs in this game, and there's lava lizards, what they're probably called, and it hits the logo Spyro 2 Ripto. They updated the Spyro logo for this one too, giving the more modernized Spyro-looking logo, where Spyro just stands there and watches the cavemen running around like it's frickin' Flintstones or something like that. This game really is a true absolute masterpiece of a game. This really is the best what the PS1 has to offer. This game perfectly demonstrates that, and now we'll find out what this game's actually about.
Is this rain ever gonna stop? I've forgotten what the sun looks like. We should go on vacation. Somewhere warm, somewhere sunny. Dragon Shores! Yeah, I haven't been there since we kicked Nasty Nork's butt. How about it, Sparx? You up for a vacation at the beach? Last one there's a Nork!
Is it working, Professor?
Almost. Just a few more adjustments to these orbs and...
Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Bringing a dragon here could just make Ripto angrier.
Calm down, Hunter, and stop fidgeting.
But you saw the professor's book. They have claws like this, teeth like this, and they spit fire like this. Puh, puh. They sound much more dangerous than Ripto.
That's exactly the point. A dragon is our only chance of stopping Ripto, and you know it.
It's working! It's working! I've got a dragon!
Whoa, rough landing. Hi, which way's the... beach? Hey, stop staring. Haven't you guys ever seen a dragon before?
You're a dragon?
You got a problem with that, pussycat?
Well, someone forgot to invite me to the party. Were you trying to keep something from me? A dragon? You brought a dragon to Avalar? I hate dragons! Yeah! Ow! Crush! Kill it! Kill it! Go! You imbecile! You ate my scepter! I'll deal with you later!
Who is that jerk?
That was Ripto, and we have to get rid of him. He's causing all sorts of trouble around here, but I haven't got time to explain. Here, take this magic guide to Avalar. It'll help you begin to understand our worlds. Right now, I have to follow Ripto and see what he's up to. I'll meet you in Summer Forest, okay?
Hey, wait a minute! How do we get ourselves into these messes, pal?
Yeah, so I just remembered, I'm playing a video game, not watching a movie. It's Spyro 2, and now the game is finally going to get into what actually makes it a video game. The fact that it has an interactive aspect to it, which is what we're doing right now, is exploring levels. These levels are very wide open, it's filled with exploration, just like Super Mario 64, where you collect stuff, and you get, what are pretty much kind of like power stars, but they're orbs in this game. This game uses orbs, and we're in Glimmer now. Apparently this level is called Glimmer, where it's a perfect name for a level where they mine gems. They have gem mines around there, where they probably mine gemstones, and there's those enemies, and you don't actually get gems for killing enemies in this game. You get what are called spirit particles, and somehow they could power these power-ups. So if you kill a certain amount of enemies, you could get these power-ups, and they could make Spyro do all sorts of bizarre things that could help him get through levels. This is obviously the first level I've played. Well, actually, no, this isn't the first level I've ever played of this game, because the first levels I played this game were the Sunny Beach and Skelos Badlands levels, because those levels were present in the demo for this game, which I played a lot before I played this game, so I knew I would like Spyro 2. I didn't even know anything about Spyro 1 or Spyro 3 or any other Spyro games for that matter. I only knew about Spyro 2 because I had it on a demo disc. Actually, I had a Tin 2 demo disc of mine. I actually had it on. And I had one of the pre-release demos where Spyro still had that rolling over ability he had in Spyro 1. And then I had like a later one that actually was more like the finished game, which I thought was kind of odd after playing the beta version so many times. That the final version actually seemed kind of weird. I didn't even think Spyro games had music in them, because the first demo didn't have music, but it does have music, and some of the best music you can hear on the PS1. Stuart Copeland returns again as the music composer for this game, and yeah, I think he really does a spot-on job with the music in this game. And then get a guidebook in this game telling you how much you got complete. It's kind of just like how like a Spyro the Dragon had like a cellular phone in the first game or something that told him what his progress was in the levels or something. That yep, this game has that too. And we're constantly getting interrupted by enemies that are explaining stuff we already know. Because that's in case you didn't play the first game, explains, oh, you're a dragon, you can charge into things with the square button, you can use the circle button to shoot fire at things, and I'm pretty much your checkpoint, because you don't rescue dragons in this game, because dragons in the first game served as your checkpoints, but you don't in this game, so instead, the fairy, that frickin' Tinkerbell fairy thing is gonna zap you every so often. For some reason, Spyro never seems to get electrocuted by the zaps. I don't know why you would not, but I don't know, he's a dragon, they have all sorts of weird things. We find in this game that Spyro could just infinitely breathe underwater for a limitless amount of time, despite the fact he was fatally allergic to water in the first game. And this guy just gonna explain there's a ladder up there where we can do more challenges or some more challenging, but we can't do that yet because that's that ability Spyro needs to learn in this game, is how to climb up stuff. They can climb up walls like he's freaking Spider-Man or something like that. Yeah, Spyro Man. I think I mentioned that somewhere before. Spyro Man, like an ultimate hybrid of Spyro the Dragon and Spider-Man. It's Spyro Man. He could probably, you know, swing from things and stuff. That actually would make a pretty cool hero. And there's this bear, this cheapskate bear. It's always going to make us pay money for everything. Gems pretty much serve as a currency in this game rather than just being simply something you collect to progress in the game. And a lot of the time you're forced to pay money bags for stuff just so you could progress in the game. If you say no to it, you're not going to be able to progress in the game. The bridge isn't going to work, and then you're not going to get very far in this game. You're going to be doing this a lot throughout the game because, well, money bags is cheap in Avalar, but I don't know how high taxes are in Avalar, but they're probably very expensive, I would imagine, which is probably why people need to, you know, why you have to charge so much for this. And you have to stop us again. Yes, I already know all this stuff. It's explaining more stuff. This was in the first game, pretty sure. We press and hold the triangle button so you can, like, look around so the camera goes behind you. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Spyro could do that in Spyro 1. And there's those rock things there we can't charge into, of course, because large enemies, just like in Spyro 1, large enemies can only be flamed, not charged. So we already got quite a few gems. Back we have over 100 gems. I would have had over 200 if we didn't have to do that spending for money bags, that cheap little bear that makes us pay for everything. And this is the end of the level, but there's more. Pretty much every level in this game is more than just simply go from point A to point B. Oh yeah, there's way more in this game. There's actual mini-games in this game. There's actual, like, challenges and stuff. And I remember there's one here. I think we have to fly around. I don't think we could do that yet, because I think that requires climbing up that ladder. Oh, actually, no, we can do it now, actually. It's not that thing that crawls. That's some other game. I think there's so many mini games in this game. I don't remember what all the mini games are. I've played this game so many times. And a lot of times when I come back to play this game, especially some of the lesser familiar parts of the game, it always feels like it's a new game sometimes. Like something I don't even know what to do. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing a lot of the time. Feels like, you know, something very new. Which I guess it's kind of like a rare thing for a game. You'd think if you play a game so many times, you would know it well. But since there's so much stuff to memorize in this game, and Spyro 3 is even worse at stuff like this, because Spyro 3 has tons of stuff to memorize, tons of, like, has even more stuff than this. It's completely jam-packed of stuff like this. Sometimes I think they overdid a little bit with Spyro 3, having all the different characters you can play. This is pretty simple. We're going to do more stuff like this in the game, too, where you fly around here, and you can fly. It's kind of like what you did in those not speedways, what are they called, those flight levels in the original Spyro. We had to flame stuff, and then you had to get a certain amount of them so they could activate something, or because, yeah, we're going to get our first orb. As you can see, yeah, these are like what the power stars were in Super Mario 64. They're orbs, these round, mythical things that have some sort of unexplained, undefined power, something like that. Oh look, there's this gem cutter. He looks like a mouse. They call them gem cutters. Is that what species they are? Or is that their job or something that are gem cutters? They almost look like a weird hybrid of a mouse or a kangaroo or something like a short kangaroo mouse-like thing. Or maybe it's like a marmot-like thing. You have to aim. If you go into like first person view, this is actually a new mechanic they threw into this game where you could actually, where Spyro could grab onto like balls and you could spit them out and hit enemies like that. Whereas on the triangle button, you'll see like a reticule crosshair like thing on the screen, so you can target them and actually like shoot them, stuff like that. Yeah, they threw crosshairs into this game for aiming and shooting and stuff. I guess they did a good job with that. I remember playing this game for the first time ever. When I first played this level and I actually got the full game, I was thinking like, oh, this is like the best game ever. This is like really like, this is really inventive. This is really innovative. It feels like I'm just exploring like some magical world. It's almost like I got transported to some magical world almost, where you just collect stuff and where you collect stuff and do tasks for things. And it was really fun. It's like, this is very therapeutic, I think, just running through this level and collecting what's there and then exploring stuff. This is like the first level of the game, so there isn't really an awful lot compared to what the other levels in this game have, but it's the first level. It's like an introduction level. More than 90% of video games always begin with a short little tutorial level or something like that. That's kind of what this is. It's a tutorial level, essentially. Unless you're a game like Gradius or something like that, where it makes you do the final exam first before it lets you actually play the game. It makes the hardest level. Here's the first level of the game, the hardest level. Then after that, everything's a lot easier. It's like it wants you to, make sure you're actually good at the game before you can actually play the game. There were Comic Zone on the Genesis did something somewhat similar to that. I think the first level is so challenging that most kids that play the game will never see anything past the first level. Thankfully, this game doesn't do that. This is actually a good example of what the PS1 is capable of doing. This is when the PS1 was in its prime, 1999. The PS1 was in its prime. We finally achieved the best the PS1 could possibly achieve, and this game is a perfect example of that. The perfect example of the PS1 is capable. We really see like the capabilities. Like PS1 has come a very long way in the last 5 years from this point. But 5 years earlier, people were playing stuff like Ridge Racer, where it was just like a racing game that's more like an overly well polished Sega Genesis game. But now we're playing Spyro 2, a game that will put the Genesis to shame. There's no way the Genesis could have done something like this. This is like, I don't think there's any way some pre-PS1 system could have done this. Heck, even in 1995 or 1996, in the early days of the PS1, a game like this was way too ambitious. There's no way people could have imagined something. Or maybe people did, I don't know. Maybe some people imagined stuff like this, but they just, And this is way beyond, like Jumping Flash came out like 4 years before this game did. And this game is obviously far superior to Jumping Flash. There's a lot more content than Jumping Flash. And because Jumping Flash came at a time when PS1 was really more starting to compete with SNES and Genesis that were already out. But at this point in time, PS1 was really more trying to compete with Mario 64 and the N64, which I think the PS1 was already defeating the N64 by a very wide margin at this point in time too. The N64 really was defeated by the PS1. Yeah, PS1 definitely was a better system. I'm glad I got a PS1 rather than an N64 back in the day, so I could play this masterpiece and all the other masterpieces on the PS1 had to offer. I have more games for PS1 than I do for any other system to ever exist. And this game, and yes, I have all three of the Spyro games, and they're some of the greatest games ever. And I'm glad I own them. And they were the best Spyro games ever made, because most of the Spyro games after the PS1 era weren't really as good. I'm still going to be a completion freak, though, even though it's not possible in this game to collect everything the first time around. Backtracking is required to get a lot of levels in this game 100% complete. Not every level in this game, but quite a lot of levels in this game require backtracking, unlike Spyro 1, where it was possible to 100% complete every level in the game the first time around. So, of course, we're going to have to go back to this level. Yes, we are going to have to do some backtracking, some real serious backtracking in this game. So we're going to get a talisman. These things also have some sort of significance to the game. Something to do with beating Ripto, that red-skinned, alien-looking guy with a horn on his head that we saw earlier. I don't know what his deal is. We never actually really know what his deal is, really. All we know is that he has something against dragons, and he has something against the people of Avalar. And he's like the most popular Spyro villain there is, and we were introduced to him right at the beginning of the game, and it looks like we're going to get more story. Yeah, it shows a book, like we're reading a story. That's what this feels like most of the time.
Oh no! Oh, Hello. We didn't get a chance to introduce ourselves before. My name is Alora.
Hi, I'm Spyro. What are you, some kind of goat?
I'm a fawn, you dork.
Oh, sorry.
Did you meet the Gym Cutters in Glimmer?
Yeah, they gave me a souvenir too. They called it a talisman.
They gave you a talisman?
What, is it special? I just stuck it in the guidebook you gave me.
There are 14 talismans in Avalar, and they are all magical. If you can collect enough of them, they can be used to defeat Ripto. Hunter, where have you been?
I got a little lost.
Spyro's going to help us collect the talismans.
I am?
Yes.
Spyro, look. There's no way you can get to Dragon Shores right now. Ripto and his monsters have taken over the castle here in the Summer Forest. You're going to have to go to Avalar's worlds and convince the inhabitants to give you their talisman. You can keep them in your guidebook.
Hey, I could do that. Why doesn't the dragon just torch Ripto?
Hunter, you can't even keep track of your running shoes. How can we trust you with 14 talisman? If you come across any orbs, they're important too, but I'll tell you about them later.
Okay, no problem. I'll collect a few talismans, give Ripto the old hot foot, and be in Dragon Shores by lunchtime.
Yeah. They're being introduced to the first hub world of the game, the Summer Forest. There's actually less homeworlds in this game than there was in the original Spyro, but they're a lot more bigger and filled with more content in this game. This is Ray Phoenix signing out.